Hey, I have decided to go to San Francisco because why the not? I almost swore there. YouTube, please don't delete my video. So anyways, it is March, I'm on spring break, and I am theoretically having more time to watch films, but I just don't because I'm still too busy. But anyways, the month started off with Contempt, or Le Mépris, by Jean-Luc Godard. And this is my fourth Godard film, and it's also probably the most challenging Godard film I've seen. I fell asleep at least 5 times and had to rewind back to before I fell asleep. The film is shot like a 60s Hollywood epic, but most of the film is just a petty guy arguing with his very mean wife. There is a 30-minute long scene where we just hear them arguing in an apartment. But I find it very interesting the way Godard lets his criticisms towards the American studio system and commodified filmmaking manifest themselves into a film. Fritz Lang, the legendary German filmmaker Fritz Lang, is also in this film, and he's not even playing a major role or anything, but there's so much to be said in how even a celebrated European maestro is oppressed by the American studio system. The incessantly repeating main theme is a bit tough to sit through, but overall, I like this film and I have to rewatch it to give it a better verdict. For now, an 8 out of 10. Following that, I watched News from Home by Chantal Akerman. I saw this for my video essay film class, and even though I had seen Jean Dillman last year, so I knew how slow this was going to be, this film still challenged me a lot. But honestly, the most surprising thing is that despite how difficult sitting through this film is, I managed to get emotional at times, because every time Chantal reads a letter from her mother, it reminded me of my mom's texts. And despite never having been to New York, I started to associate these places in New York with places in LA, and then suddenly I felt a deep sense of longing and loneliness. I related to this film on a personal level, and it's surprising that many others also do. For that, I give it a 9 out of 10. The next day, for my essay film class, we watched Terra Femme, which is a documentary about female travelers and the female gaze, but aside from that, it's a lot of information, and I can't say I extracted much from viewing this documentary. Next up, I watched The Perfect Neighbor, which is an Oscar-nominated documentary this year, which didn't win. It's a really important documentary, but also it's basically just a glorified YouTube true crime video. I also wish the doc could go further in exploring the institutionalized racism and the miseducation that fueled the racism. 7 out of 10. Following that, I watched If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You by Mary Bronstein. It's really impressive the way she takes the mundane slice of life and finds the most stressful parts of them and then amplifies them. Rose Byrne gives a hell of a performance, and probably my second favorite female performance of the year after Jennifer Lawrence. Everyone's really good in it. Conan O'Brien, A$AP Rocky, Ivy Wolk, Christian Slater, and even the little girl. 8 out of 10. Following that, I watched The Diving Bell and the Butterfly by Julian Schnabel. I'm feeling a little bit conflicted about this because on one hand, I really love the way it uses the POV shot to lock the audience in. It's very claustrophobic and intense sometimes, and I actually enjoyed that. I also think this is a really charming film for its sense of humor, but at times it's just a bit too unserious. I like how it portrays memory and time in the way they're all chopped up, but then I might as well be watching Tarkovsky's Mirror. The shots outside of Jean-Dominique's POV looks great, except they also feel like a ripoff of Terrence Malick. The whole thing just feels very canned bait, even though I enjoyed most parts of it. I don't know, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, but strong 7 to a light 8. Maybe it's going to turn into a 7, I'm not really sure. Then, I watched Amélie et la métaphysique des tubes, or Little Amélie or the Character of Rain, which is an Oscar-nominated animated film. The animation is gorgeous. I love the textures and the color palettes are amazing. There are also a lot of cute moments that I really like, but beyond that, this film is very palatable and plain and easy and not that interesting. It just feels like a cute moments compilation and not much else. This is also a really weird way of spinning the diasporic literature genre where a person is displaced in a different culture, but the film barely explores that. 7 out of 10. Then for my essay film class, we watched a 1928 German short film called Inflation, which is also happening now. Then, after that, we watch AKA Serial Killer by Adachi Masao. This film is similar to News from Home in that it's mostly shots of cities and specific things like train schedules and buildings and factories, but it's also going for a completely different thing. I really admire how it uses landscape and architecture to reflect oppression in Japanese society, but also I just felt very challenged by this film, and at times my mind just wandered around. 7 out of 10. Then I watched The Alabama Solution, which is also an Oscar-nominated documentary, and this is much more well shot and put together than The Perfect Neighbor. It feels kind of weird because I've been watching so many experimental documentaries lately. When a straightforward documentary shows up, it just kind of threw me off guard. Anyways, this is incredibly heartbreaking, and I hope this documentary inspires more people to care about this and also do something about it. 8 out of 10. Then I watched Wheel of Fortune in Fantasy, or Guzen to Soso by Hamaguchi Ryusuke. It feels like a Hong Sang-soo film, especially with the zooms, the DIY cinematography, but also, most importantly, the way it uses conversation to reveal character and tell the entire story. Hamaguchi has a really nice sense of slice-of-life humor, and I also love the way he uses the act of writing and acting to turn into nuggets of lovelorn experiences in life. My favorite is segment 2, and especially the way it plays with intimacy in relation to physical space. Not the most good-looking Hamaguchi film, but this makes me even more excited for his new film, which will probably, very likely, perhaps premiere in Cannes Film Festival this year. 8 out of 10. And oh boy, if I get to go to Cannes, I am definitely watching that film. All of a sudden. Stay tuned. So yeah, these are the films I watched in the last couple of weeks or so. Comments below, let me know if you want more. Thanks for watching.